Fairly calm for the first 5.5 laps from Daytona International Speedway. A lot of drivers trying that strategy of staying right on the yellow line.
Yeah, of course, that means you can't get past on the left if you're on the yellow line. So, you know, it takes a little bit of that having to watch somebody behind you where they're going to go. You know they're going to go outside.
And if they have help. I mean, one car probably is not going to pass a pack.
Shelter sideways. Big time sideways.
Shelter up to the high side of the track. We see Ricky Carmichael up through the middle as well.
That was a nice save.
My goodness, that thing got loose. Not sure why. It just looked like the car just kind of turned sideways with him, but great job of saving it.
Looked like he was by himself. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to Patrick and what caused him to get sideways. You see him right behind that 55 car.
Phil, I mean, there's a tail. You got a big wind down the back straightaway, and if it's going to affect these cars, it's going to affect them getting into turn 3. I think he just was running really fast right there, and the car just got loose.
Problems on the racetrack. The 52.
Bill Baird.
With more problems. Cars coming in. We've got accidents on the racetrack.
That looks like Leilani Munter right there.
Leilani Munter involved. Numerous cars involved in this one. Coming out of turn number 2, the problems started in 2, and they continue on to the start of the backstretch.
Unbelievable.
Well,
that many cars
blocked right there.
Unbelievable. That many cars would get in that wreck.
6 cars stopped right there on the racetrack.
Look at that.
Bill Baird in the 52.
That's Steve Blackburn, the car closest to us.
The 90 of Leilani Munter, like you mentioned earlier.
That's Milka Duna in the 90.
Oh, Milka Duna in the 90, excuse me.
See Bill Baird, the 52 car.
He's sideways.
Just gets sideways and tries to catch it. Catches it one time, just can't get a hold of it, and takes Steve Blackburn up to the outside wall. Obviously, these banks are self-cleaning. They're going to come down the hill. There's Tim George in the 31. Looks like he may have avoided it.
And after they come down the racetrack, then other cars thinking they were going to clear it get into this as well.
It just always amazes me that, you know, here's our big wreck, and cars are so far back, but they continue to pile in here. Watch, here comes a bunch of other cars that just did not slow down.
Here's real time right here. You see Bill Baird, he gets sideways and takes Steve Blackburn hard on the outside wall. And again, they're going to come on down the hill. And there's so much smoke there too, Darrell. And you see a lot of guys trying to take evasive action.
You know, Phil, they always told us that here comes some other cars that just can't get slowed down. They always told us in the drivers' meetings, if you get loose, crank it left and lock it down.
Yeah, that's a good view right there of all that smoke, Darrell. So all these drivers coming in here, even though they were trying to slow down, realize these cars are just about stopped, and they were trying to slow down from 180 miles an hour.
Butch Jarvis in the 0, sliding by our cameras. Let's take another look at what happened here on lap number 7. Field coming through turns 1 and 2.
Watch that black and white car, the 52 of Bill Baird. That's Kenny Schrader's car, our buddy. See him gets loose and then just can't quite catch up with it. Takes Steve Blackburn into the outside wall. Then some cars are going to start piling in.
31 did a good job of getting through, but that was about it. Everybody here from here on back just keeps coming.
And Leilani Munter's in there, Russ Duggar.
Here comes cars that,
see, those cars came along way too fast. DW.
Yeah, I mean, there's that white car. I couldn't see the number. I mean, he never checked up. I'm sure they have spotter meetings, and I'm sure the spotters they got to be telling these guys to back it down.
I mean, if nothing else, tell their driver caution's out. Slow down.
Do something.
Way too many cars came in there.
Look,
that one coming through way too quick. Another one making contact, the 99.
Those last 3 or 4 cars, they should not have been in that wreck. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Is that 51 car so fast that nobody can pull out, or is somebody going to try to race him?
It's another new thing for Danica. This is a restart. She had an initial start, did great. Now she has a restart.
Field coming back into the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
I think Danica started to dip to the bottom, and somebody must have hollered at her to stay up there until you get past the start-finish line, because she almost made a move there. 3 wide right in front of her.
And cars coming fast behind her. Problems right there in front of her. Sliding down in turn number 1. It's the 22. Oh, and again we've got problems. Craig Gose in the 81 slides into the 22 of Dakota Armstrong.
Dakota was running in the 6th position.
I think that sometime that engine on the restart looked like it just started smoking. But for the life of me, don't know why that other guy hit him.
Dakota Armstrong slid down on the apron. Let's take another look.
What looks like he's holding the field up a little bit. He's got John West Townley behind him. Looks like probably some contact there.
Oh, he got a push. Yeah, it wasn't the engine so much.
He slides back up the racetrack, and that's when the 81 of Craig Gose slides into him.
Danica moves up the racetrack to give him a little bit more room.
They get all bottled up here going down in the corner. Yeah, and the 22 gets a bump from behind. Up the track he goes.
But see, now there's plenty of time here, and it comes down the bank.
Yep.
The 81 car has actually started to go to the outside and then turn left at the last second. The 22 was already coming down the hill.
One of the things that you don't know because you're limited experience, but the cars are going to come back down the racetrack. That's just what they do. They go up, hit the wall, or they go up and then they come right back down. So stay high. If you just stay high, you only got to miss him once.
And guys, in that situation, Dakota, I mean, should have had that thing locked down, but he came right back up the racetrack coming off of the apron.
Yeah. That's expected. I mean, you hit that flat, the car's going to go back up the hill. But what you learn as you race here is he's going to come up the hill, but he's going to go back down. So you only have to miss him once if you stay high.
Really talking more in terms of the 81 car of Craig Gose.
Yeah,
not the
22 couldn't help what happened to him. He got a little help.
Here's just entering turn one.
As a matter of fact, he got a lot of help.
Yeah, there's no way, I don't believe, Rick, that he could have kept that car down on the apron as fast as he was going down there.
Craig ends his day. Jim Trado.
Just a quick update, guys. When I heard the radio chatter between the 22 driver, Dakota Armstrong, the crew asked him, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, guys, I had a tire going down into turn one, so he tried everything he could to get out of the way, but obviously it was not enough in his first attempt here at Daytona."
Well, it's a tough finish to a quick race for Dakota Armstrong as well as Craig Gose. Two cars involved in the second accident here at Daytona. Lights are off on the pace car. It will make the hard left turn onto pit road, put the field back in the hands of James Busher, who has been out front all 23 laps that have taken place up to this point. Joey Coulter, Mikey Kyle, Brian Silas, and Nelson Piquet Jr. all in the top 5. Green flag back in the air. Pretty good restart as they all cross the start-finish line. No one bottled up this time.
Danica gave herself, that last restart got her attention. She gave herself a little extra room that time.
That's how you do a start. Good job. Come on.
Sounds like Mike Dillon spotting for Tim George Jr. Tim gained a couple spots in this restart.
If he listens to Dillon, well, I don't know what might happen. Come and think of it.
Dillon, the father of Austin Dillon, who will be running the full truck series this year.
He's fun to listen to as a spotter, I'm going to tell you.
He and Clint Boyer do a pretty good job, though, don't they? There's that son we're talking about. There's Frank Kimmel.
Just for the short duration right there, but it sure does bother you.
Frank Kimmel running in the top 10. He's running 8th right now. He's got Ricky Carmichael behind him. Danica Patrick running 10th.
You know, it really helped when they built a new tower here a few years ago, Darrell, because when you come off 4, you didn't have the grandstands as high as they are now, and the sun was worse for longer. But now with that new tower that they built a few years ago, it's not quite as bad as it was.
Frank Kimmel looking back on Ricky Carmichael. We heard the story from NASCAR that they're going to loosen the reins a bit on the Cup drivers, allowing bump drafting. We haven't seen a lot of bumping here, primarily because the bumpers don't line up that well.
Well, these cars have a tendency to lift the car in front of them off the ground. It's got that sloop nose on them like the old car used to have. And when you run up under the back of somebody with one of these cars, you're going to get them up in the air. You're going to lift the rear tires off the ground. We got a car against the wall. Another
coming
car
off the board, upside down goes a car coming out of turn number 4.
I don't know what's
like the 48 car, possibly.
All the way around. That could be Jill George. Yes, it is. Jill George in the number 48 comes rolling to a stop at the entrance to pit road.
That car just snapped. I mean, it literally just snapped around, went straight into the outside retaining wall, and then flipped over. This car, the 29 right there, he was up against the wall coming through 3 and 4 as if he had a right front tire down. Then the 48 did something to avoid him and flipped over.
That's Jesse Smith right there.
In the 29 with the window net down. That's a great sign.
Yeah, Jesse Smith has made numerous pit stops this race. He's probably made at least a dozen pit stops this race.
That's Jill George in the 48. Let's take another look. Coming out of turn 4.
Look up top of your screen. You see
that's
Jesse's
the first
already
thing
on
I
the
saw.
outside wall.
Oh, I see what happened. She got down on the 48 got down on the apron. The 48 got the left side tires down on the apron, and when
and lost control.
Overcorrected, and the car shot right back up across the track into the outside wall and flipped over. See, watch this.
See,
that's Jesse Smith cutting the right front tire down.
That's the 29. And see, the 48 gets down on the apron. There's a very good chance with the smoke I saw coming out of that right front of the 48, it may have cut a tire down.
Could have
been some debris from the 29 as well.
That car made an abrupt turn to the right. And amazing, the 48 it's amazing what this car does. Watch this thing.
There must be a tremendous amount of debris down on the racetrack. Watch top of your screen, top right. That's the red car, the 48 of Jill George.
That car was turning over before it ever even got to the wall. It was coming up on its side.
It was that hard of a right turn that it started to roll over, hit the top of the car on the wall, and then back onto its wheels.
You saw all that debris on the racetrack when the ARCA officials, pace car, brought the cars down off of turn number 4. They went down through the flat to avoid that entire area where all that debris is.
And welcome back to the Lucas Oil Slick Mist 200. We're under caution for the 4th time tonight. This time, 9-time series champion Frank Kimmel is caught up in the accident.
Yeah, I think Frank was a victim of that incident. Let's see if we can take a look back at what happened.
I think it's a chain reaction, Phil. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this is really this is a separate incident. This is coming off turn 2 on the backstretch
over there.
Nick Adolski, but when they get over to turn number 3, then they're going to have the incident that Frank was involved in. Watch to your right of your screen.
Oh yeah, he got hit from behind.
Yeah. The 83 car, it looked like Sean Core may have got a little bit loose, got down to the apron. Frank may have eased off the throttle, got run into from behind, then there was a chain reaction.
Checked up and got run over by the 25.
Not a tremendous amount of damage to those cars, but yet some damage.
I think the 25 is okay, but the 44's got the most damage.
That's Frank. That's when he gets a shot. That's the Nelson Piquet Jr., the 6 right behind him.
In pits, or in Frank Kimmel's pits, is Jim Trado. Jim?
As they came down pit road here, not a whole lot of chatter on the radio. They know what they have to do. They looked at the replay on the big screen. What we saw is what they saw. And backing in the wall was Kimmel, but not enough to offset the rear spoiler. The rear bumper cover, if anything, has been damaged. They're changing right side tires because of that slide. They're only allowed 2 sets of tires in the pits in the 4 they started the race on. So lucky for them, they had a spare set. They went with scuffs last time and scuffs this time for Frank Kimmel, trying to repair that minimal right side right front damage. And the bumper in the rear looks okay.
Frank Kimmel was running 13th, and Mikey Kyle was running 16th at the time of this caution. Jim Trado. Oh,
hey guys, Mark Thompson under caution was talking to his crew chief. He said, I'm better than him through the tri-oval, but I can't get lower than he does. He's sucking on the yellow line. His crew chief, Tony Labrati, said, do what you need to do. I don't care where you pass him. You know where his weaknesses are. You've got the race car. It's in your hands now. But Mark Thompson closing in on the 5 of Bobby Gerhart, thinks he's better through the tri-oval, and that's right where the finish line is.
Well, you know, we've talked about Danica most of the race. She got to give a tip of the hat to Allie Owens, too. Here she sits running 3rd, very patiently sitting there. And if Mark Thompson's not careful, she's going to be right by him.
We talked about Allie on one of our NASCAR live show and said that we may have a female win here at Daytona, and it might not be Danica. It may be Allie Owens. She's in a great position right now.
She really is.
Joey Coulter tucked in behind her. Then it's John West Townley behind Joey Coulter. James Busher, your pole sitter and early leader of this race, is back to the 6th spot. Justin Marks 7th. Patrick Sheltra 8th. Ricky Carmichael is 9th. And Steve Arpin rounding out our top 10.
That 51 car really surprised me, Phil. I thought he would drive to the outside, go right by these guys and get
problems.
No. The
over and over, it's the 06 of Barry Fitzgerald. And he comes to a stop.
He's already taken the window net down.
Yeah,
that was coming out of turn number 2, I believe.
Yeah, it is. You see him moving around in there. That's a good sign. It looks like he's trying to get unbuckled.
Safety crews to him quickly.
Why are these cars turning over today? Every time you look around, there's a car turning over.
And this one was sideways until it got into the grass, and then around it went.
Watch top of your screen. The green and black car, that's Barry Fitzgerald. Gets a little bit loose, slides off the racetrack and just turns around backwards the wrong way.
These cars are the way they're set up. When they go on the left side like that, it's just almost they turn over. It's the way the cars are set up.
A violent ride for Barry Fitzgerald in that 06.
There's another view coming off turn 2. You know, and he wasn't in the grass. He was already flipping before he got to the grass right there. So it wasn't a situation where the unevenness of the grass.
No, but when it hit the grass, it did a whole lot more bucking around. I can tell you, the grass is rough, man.
5 times that car did a tumble. Again, if you're just joining us for NASCAR race day at the bottom of the hour, that will be coming up next. We have 21 laps to go in this one. The safety crew is attending to Barry Fitzgerald. We'll be back with more from Daytona after this.